day the backyard became the best room in the house. There is a moment that many homeowners in their 50s and 60s across the United States, Britain, and Canada will recognize, the moment they walked through the sliding glass door into their backyard and thought, this could be so much more than this. The standard suburban backyard, perhaps a rectangle of lawn, a modest patio, a few containerized herbs near the back fence, has, for a generation, been the most underutilized space in the home. But something has been changing, and changing rapidly. Driven partly by the upheaval of the pandemic years when the home became everything, and partly by the global explosion of travel imagery from Southeast Asia flooding every platform and screen, homeowners are redefining what a backyard can mean. The Bali-Style tropical home, with its layered greenery, its stone water features, its teak pavilions and infinity-edged pools, has moved from aspirational travel destination to a genuine design blueprint for residential transformation. According to a 2026 report from House, the leading home design platform, Tropical Balinese Sanctuary Design was among the 4 most searched vacation-inspired home aesthetics of the year. The backyard is no longer the afterthought of the home. For a growing number of discerning homeowners, it has become the reason for the home. What Bali actually teaches us about outdoor living. To understand why the Bali aesthetic has captured the imagination of luxury homeowners across the English-speaking world, it helps to understand what Balinese design actually prioritizes, because it is not what most people assume. It is not primarily about thatched roofs, tropical plants, or infinity pools, though all of these may feature. At its heart, Balinese design treats the outdoor space as the primary living room, the room around which all others are organized. The Balinese concept of the compound home, a series of pavilions and gardens enclosed by walls, with movement between inside and outside as fluid and natural as breathing, represents perhaps the most sophisticated thinking about outdoor living that any design culture has ever produced. This philosophy resonates with particular depth for homeowners entering their 50s and 60s, people who have raised their families inside the house and are now ready to invest in the spaces that serve their own pleasure, rest, and social life. The research consistently supports this shift. A well-executed luxury outdoor transformation incorporating Bali-style design principles, a tropical planting scheme, a statement water feature, quality teak furniture, and a properly conceived pavilion or shade structure, increases residential property value by an average of 5 to 8%, according to real estate data from across Florida, California, the Pacific Northwest, and comparable markets in the UK and Canada. The backyard, it turns out, is not just the best room in the house. It is often the best investment in it. The infinity pool reimagined, water as the heart of the garden. Why Bali's pools look different from every other pool on Earth. There is a particular effect that happens when you look at a Bali-style infinity pool at golden hour that does not happen with any other type of residential pool design. The water appears not to end at a wall or a coping stone but to continue, to dissolve into the surrounding landscape, merging with the tree line, or the horizon, or the sky itself, in one uninterrupted plane of reflected color. This vanishing edge effect, which Balinese resort architects perfected in the 1990s and which has since become one of the most copied design ideas in residential luxury globally, is achieved through a precise piece of hydraulic engineering. The water level at one or more edges of the pool is maintained fractionally above the height of the pool wall, allowing it to spill silently into a hidden catch basin where it is filtered and returned. What appears effortless and magical is in fact the product of extraordinary precision, the infinity edge must be leveled to within 1/16 of an inch for the effect to work correctly. But the visual impact of that precision is, once experienced, transformative. In 2026, according to leading pool design sources, the infinity edge pool has moved from being an exclusively hillside luxury, requiring a dramatic elevation change to create the illusion, to a mainstream residential feature achievable even on flat suburban lots through what designers call a perimeter overflow system, where water appears to vanish into the surrounding deck level. Thousands of homeowners in Florida, the Carolinas, and coastal California are now creating this Balinese effect in their own backyards, and the results are extraordinary. The sound of water, why every Bali garden has it, and why you needed two of all the elements that distinguish a genuinely Bali-inspired backyard from a merely tropical-looking one. The most important is the one that most people never consciously notice, until they sit in a garden without it. The sound of running water. In Bali's finest villa compounds, water is never static. It moves constantly, trickling through narrow carved stone channels from one garden zone to the next, falling from a raised koi pond over a stone lip into a lower basin, whispering from a bamboo spout into a terracotta collection vessel near the kitchen garden entrance. This movement of water through the garden serves a purpose that is simultaneously acoustic, psychological, and deeply civilizational. It creates what landscape designers call a white noise field, a continuous, gentle sound that masks the background noise of roads, neighbors, and everyday life, creating a psychological boundary between the garden and the world outside it. Neurological research published in peer-reviewed environmental psychology journals consistently demonstrates that exposure to naturally flowing water sounds reduces cortisol levels, the primary hormone of physiological stress, more reliably than almost any other commonly accessible environmental factor. This is why a Bali garden feels, even on the first visit, like a place where it is acceptable to exhale completely. The world has not actually changed. But the sound of water has quietly, invisibly, placed a wall between you and it. For those of us who spend our working lives managing pressure, this is not a decorative choice. It is a genuine act of self-care built into the architecture of the garden itself. Teak, stone, and the materials that age like you do. The palette of the Bali backyard. Why teak is the wood that defines luxury outdoor living, everywhere. When you study the 10 most stunning Bali-style tropical homes that have been built or transformed across North America, Britain, and Canada over the past 5 years, homes that have been featured in architectural publications, that have consistently drawn the most sustained attention from design-conscious audiences, that have aged beautifully rather than looking dated within a season, one material appears in all of them without exception. Teak. Not pine, not cedar, not composite decking, not the pressure-treated lumber that constitutes the majority of residential outdoor construction in the English-speaking world. Teak, specifically the dense, naturally oiled, silica-rich hardwood that Balinese craftsmen have been working with for centuries, and that now comes from both traditional Indonesian sources and certified sustainable plantations in Asia, Central America, and even parts of sub-Saharan Africa. The reason for teak's absolute dominance in the Bali-inspired luxury outdoor space is not marketing. It is chemistry. Teak contains natural oils that penetrate its own grain structure, rendering the wood essentially impervious to the moisture, UV radiation, fungal growth, and insect attack that destroy other outdoor timbers within years. Left untreated, teak weathers to a distinguished silver gray, a tone that many designers prefer to the original honey brown, as it harmonizes so naturally with stone, water, and the muted greens of a mature tropical planting scheme. A quality teak outdoor dining set, properly maintained, will outlast its owners. In a design culture increasingly dominated by disposable furniture and seasonal trends, teak's permanence is not merely a practical virtue. It is, for those who choose it deliberately, a statement of values. The outdoor pavilion, Bali's greatest gift to the Western backyard. If there is one architectural element that, more than any other, transforms a pleasant backyard into a genuinely extraordinary outdoor living environment, one that gets used every single day, in every season where the climate permits, by every member of the household, it is the outdoor pavilion. In Bali, the pavilion or bale is not an outdoor room in the Western sense, something tacked onto the house as an afterthought for summer barbecues. It is the primary social and ceremonial space of the compound, the place where the family gathers, where guests are received, where the day begins and ends. A proper Bali-inspired outdoor pavilion has a substantial teak or timber frame, a deeply pitched roof, traditionally alung-alung thatch but frequently translated into cedar shingle, slate, or standing seam metal in Western climates, ceiling fans that create a constant gentle movement of air, and a raised timber floor that places its occupants above the ground level of the garden, giving them both the psychological and physical sense of being sheltered within the landscape rather than exposed upon it. In practice, for a homeowner in British Columbia, Gloucestershire, or North Carolina, this translates into a pavilion that extends the usable outdoor season by months, a covered, ceiling-fanned, all-weather outdoor room that can be used through late autumn drizzle, high summer heat, and everything in between. Real estate agents across the luxury residential market consistently report that a well-built outdoor pavilion is among the 5 highest return additions a homeowner can make to their property, not only for resale value, but for the immeasurable return of daily quality of life. The tropical garden as living architecture. Plants, light, and the art of the layered landscape. How to plant like Bali, the 3-layer tropical garden. One of the most common mistakes made by homeowners attempting a Bali-inspired backyard transformation is treating the planting scheme as an afterthought, buying a few large-leaf tropical plants, positioning them near the pool, and hoping for the best. The visual complexity and layered richness of a genuine Bali garden is not achieved through individual specimen plants, however dramatic. It is achieved through the deliberate construction of what landscape designers call a 3-layer planting structure, a system borrowed directly from the structure of tropical rainforests, which Balinese garden design has refined and domesticated over centuries. The canopy layer consists of the tallest elements, mature palms such as the queen palm or the Washingtonia, structural tropical trees like the frangipani, the flame tree, or in temperate climates, the hardy Trachycarpus palm or cordyline, that create the overhead structure of shade and sky framing that gives a Bali garden its fundamental character. The middle layer is composed of the architectural foliage plants, bird of paradise, heliconia, ginger, elephant ear, canna lily, and banana, plants with dramatic leaf forms and occasional spectacular flowering that create the visual density and tropical richness. The ground layer ties the composition together, low-growing, shade-tolerant, textural plants, moss, mondo grass, creeping fig, or in temperate climates, hostas and ferns, that create the sense of lush completeness at ground level, filling every gap with life. When these 3 layers are properly realized, the effect is not merely beautiful. It is immersive. The garden ceases to be a view from the house and becomes an environment that wraps around you, a private tropical world that is entirely, extraordinarily, and gloriously your own. The outdoor kitchen, where Bali's cooking philosophy comes home. No element of the Bali-inspired backyard has driven more sustained and enthusiastic search traffic in 2025 and 2026 than the outdoor kitchen, and the reasons for this are as much cultural as they are architectural. Balinese culinary life has always been conducted largely outdoors, in the open-air cooking spaces of the traditional compound where the fragrance of spice, charcoal, and tropical flowers mingles freely, and where the preparation of food is a shared and communal experience rather than a solitary task conducted behind a closed kitchen door. The Western outdoor kitchen, inspired by this tradition and supercharged by the luxury residential design market, has evolved in 2026 into something dramatically more sophisticated than the simple grill station of previous decades. The finest Bali-inspired outdoor kitchens now feature fully integrated stone or teak cabinetry weatherproof to the highest marine-grade standards, countertops of honed volcanic stone or sealed concrete that develop a beautiful patina over years of use, professional-grade gas or charcoal cooking equipment set into the counter, a dedicated herb garden, typically grown in terracotta pots on a windowsill or mounted shelf, and crucially, a ceiling fan dining pavilion within 5 steps of the cooking surface. This last element is what separates the Bali-inspired outdoor kitchen from its more conventional equivalent. In Bali, cooking and dining are a single uninterrupted experience. The food arrives at the table still fragrant from the fire, the cook is still part of the conversation, and the evening unfolds at a pace that has nothing whatsoever to do with efficiency and everything to do with pleasure. That philosophy, embedded in the architecture of the outdoor kitchen, is among the most meaningful things the island has to offer the Western home. Your backyard, transformed. How to begin, what it costs, and what it changes. Start small, think whole, the intelligent approach to backyard transformation. The most common question that follows any video about stunning Bali-style backyard transformations is also the most practical one: where do I start? And the most important answer, the one that landscape designers and experienced homeowners universally offer, is a counterintuitive one: start not with any single feature, but with a whole garden plan. The most beautiful backyard transformations that have been showcased in this video were not created feature by feature, on impulse, as budget allowed. They were conceived as complete environments, with a clear understanding of how the pool would relate to the pavilion, how the planting zones would frame the water feature, how the outdoor kitchen would connect to the dining area, and how the lighting would transform the entire composition after dark. A whole garden plan does not mean spending everything at once. It means understanding the complete vision before spending anything, so that every investment made, even the smallest, is made in the right place in the right sequence, building toward a coherent and extraordinary whole. The first and best investment in any serious Bali-inspired backyard transformation, before a single plant is purchased or a pool quote requested, is a full-day consultation with a landscape designer who genuinely understands tropical design principles. In the US, UK, and Canada, a growing number of specialist studios now focus exclusively on resort-inspired residential landscapes, and their fee, which typically represents less than 3% of a total project budget, consistently delivers returns that justify it many times over. Begin with vision. Everything else follows from there. The garden you deserve, backyard luxury as the art of the second act. There is a phrase that landscape designers working in the luxury residential market use, quietly but consistently, to describe the clients who commission the most extraordinary outdoor transformations, the gardens that appear in magazines, that set their neighborhood standard, that become the spaces where the most memorable evenings of the following decade are spent. They call them second act clients. People in their 50s and 60s who have spent the first act of their adult lives building careers, raising families, maintaining properties, and managing the relentless logistics of a full and demanding life, and who arrive at a certain stage with resources, with taste shaped by decades of experience and travel, and with the clarity to know that what they want now, more than anything, is a home that genuinely serves their pleasure and their peace. The Bali-inspired backyard is the quintessential second act investment, because it is not designed to impress strangers. It is designed to sustain the people who live in it, day after day, season after season. It is designed for the morning coffee beside the water feature that becomes a ritual. For the Sunday evening dinner under the pavilion that becomes a tradition. For the late afternoon swim in the infinity-edged pool that becomes, without drama, without announcement, the thing that makes a Wednesday afternoon worth having. The 10 homes in this video are not aspirational fantasies available only to the exceptionally wealthy. They are blueprints, generous, detailed, and achievable, for what a thoughtful investment in your outdoor space can genuinely become. Bali is an island 10,000 miles away. But the philosophy it embodies, that the most beautiful spaces are those that make daily life richer, slower, and more fully inhabited, is available to anyone willing to bring it home. And this, quietly and completely, is where the journey begins.